Hi, this is Topher with OS Training. In this series, we're going to take a look at a service called ManageWP. ManageWP allows you to manage multiple websites all from one dashboard. And it does it in a very smooth, easy-to-use way. This is their website, ManageWP.com. Let's scroll down here and take a look at some things. Some of their key points are listed right here on the home page. All your sites on one dashboard. And I'd like to stress that this is key. Many of the services offered by ManageWP can be had from other places. Lots of places do backups. Lots of places monitor security. Where ManageWP really shines is their ability to do all of it on multiple websites in one location. Whether you're doing 2 or 3 or 5 or 100 sites, it just makes it easy to manage all of them at once. They do offer excellent backup, restoration, and migration services. Migration is near and dear to my heart because that's something that's often very difficult to do. They do monitoring and security so they can tell you when your site went down and for how long, even if no one noticed. And they can do regular scans for security. They do have excellent support. In preparation for this video, I asked several questions and I got good prompt response. It's a service out on the web. You don't have to have software installed that you need to manage and make sure is up to date. They just take care of it for you. And it says they're leaders in website management. And from what I've seen, they really are. They're really all over the place. In another video, I'll show you some more evidence of that. This section is key to this series. You can sign up for a free 14-day trial. I strongly recommend you do that if you're going to go through the series, and you follow along with me on your own website. Tutorial videos are great, but nothing really replaces hands-on do-it-yourself learning. I actually really enjoyed this section with the testimonials because I found that I know almost everybody in here. I'm good friends with Sean and Carrie and Syed and Ryan, but I don't know Oliver, so now I need to track down Oliver and meet him. But I actually went to Carrie and I asked her if she still stands by this, and she said absolutely, she really loves ManageWP. And that meant a lot to me to have somebody that I personally know advocate it so much. And right here's where you can sign up to try it for free. Let's take a look at cost real quick. They have 3 different levels of service: standard, professional, and business. And they don't relate to how many sites you have, but rather what's offered. So standard gives you one-click updates, one-click login to any dashboard, install managed plugins and themes, and manual backups. Whereas professional gives you a clone wizard, client reports, Google Analytics integration, and the ability to do scheduled backups, stored where you wish. And then business gives you SEO analysis, search engine ranking tracker, uptime monitoring, and white labeling. And you'll note here at the bottom different prices. And those are related to how many sites you have. So with 5 sites, standard is only 80 cents a website per month, and business is $4.80. But what if you have 20? The price goes down. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the real magic in ManageWP is that it can manage multiple websites. And the more sites you have, the more valuable it becomes. Managing 100 websites is a lot more pain than managing 2. And so the value goes up, but the price goes down. And I really like that. If you get out here to 100, it's only $240 a website per month, which sounds like a lot at $240 a month. However, managing 100 websites is worth $240 a month. Just for fun, 500 websites, 14 cents a website for standard. At that scale, I don't know why you wouldn't want business, but to each his own. And you can pay monthly, annually, or biennially. No contracts, 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can change plans on the fly. And here it does a better job listing what's inside each plan. Now what we're going to look at in this series specifically is their new interface called Orion. It doesn't have all the features yet, but it has the core features, the ones that are really important. So I hope you'll create a free account and follow along as we take a look at what they have to offer. Once you create an account with ManageWP and log in, this is the first panel you'll see. This is not the new one, this is the old one, and it has all the features. Orion is in beta right now, which doesn't mean that the features it has aren't complete. It simply means that it doesn't have all the features yet. So the first thing we're going to do is go look at Orion, and you can do that in the top right corner here. And here we are. One of the great new things about Orion is the language it's written in allows it to do multiple things at the same time. That means there's a lot less waiting for you. The first thing we're going to look at in this video is the settings. In the top right is a small icon of a person, and you can click the down arrow and choose Settings. And here we're looking at the general settings. Upon login, we can look at Thumbnail, List View, or Dashboard. We'll take a look at the differences in those in a little bit. And here we can choose our time zone. I am not in Africa, but I am near Detroit. I can choose which day of the week starts on, and I can choose number formats. The reason this is significant is that this is an international tool, and dates have different formats in different countries, and the week starts on different days in different countries. Next, let's look at advanced. This is an important setting. When you're making a blog post in WordPress, every few seconds, WordPress saves a copy, so that if your browser crashes or something happens, you can get your work back. Each of those copies is called a post revision. This also happens when you simply click Publish or Save Draft or anything like that. If you leave a post open for a long period of time, you can end up with a great many revisions. And usually once your post is done, you don't need them anymore. Or at least you don't need all of them anymore. So you might end up with several dozen revisions per post. And if you have 1,200 posts like I do, that ends up being a lot of revisions. This setting allows you to say how many revisions a single post should keep. So if it limits it to 5, then no post will ever have more than 5 revisions. This can save quite a lot of space in your database and can speed up your site in general. You have the option to set it to whatever you like, and there isn't a right answer here. It kind of depends on how you use your website. If you find yourself using revisions quite a lot, set the number high so that you have more flexibility. If you find that you never use them, set it lower. I wouldn't recommend 1. Someday your browser will crash and you'll be sad. And you'll be very happy that your revisions are there. Next we can look at Profile, where we can simply set our email, first and last name. And here we can see one of the things that is not yet available in Orion. If you want to change your password, you have to go back to the other interface. For security, they offer two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication works by requiring an extra step in addition to your username and password. You can tell them your email address and or your cell phone number, and when you try to log in, they will send a code to either your email or your cell phone. And you have to put that code in within a certain period of time, or you won't be able to log in, even if you have the username and password. This makes it so that attackers can't log in even if they have your username and password, unless they also happen to have your phone. If security is important to you, then you should enable two-factor authentication, particularly if you're managing other people's websites. You never want to get to the point where someone could break into your ManageWP account and damage hundreds of websites at once. Lastly, we can look at the third-party services, and the only one available at the moment is Connect to Google Analytics. This allows ManageWP to go get information from Google Analytics and incorporate it right in your panel here, so you can look at stats across multiple sites all at the same time. That's really useful and can be great for looking at traffic patterns and content interest, etc. There will be more things that get added to this section, so you'll want to keep an eye on it. And that's it for settings. We do have the option to send feedback, and it's very simple to just ask a question, and it opens a ticket, and they will reply via email, and you'll be able to see the thread in their support area as well. In our next video, we'll take a look at how to use some of these tools. In this video, we're going to take a look at adding a couple of websites to ManageWP. From here in Orion, there are two buttons to allow you to do that. In the top left is a plus, and in the top right is Add Website. And if we click, you'll note that one of the interesting things is that you can't do that from Orion yet. You have to go back to the other panel. However, from here, in the bottom left, there's Add Website. And you simply put in the domain name. And then there's a plugin that needs to be installed on the website. And you can install it yourself, or you can have them do it. I'm going to install it myself. Here's my website. I'm on the plugins page. I go to Add New. And I'm going to search for ManageWP. And the worker here is the one we want. In another video, I mentioned that I would point out a clue as to how large ManageWP is. And you can see that there are 200,000 plus active installs of this plugin. That gives you an idea of how many sites they manage. So let's click Install Now. And we'll activate. And now, having only activated, we come back here. And we're going to choose No. I have already installed the worker plugin and activated it. Under Advanced, you'll see we have the option to put in HTTP auth username and password. That's if your website is behind that kind of password. Ours is not. So now I'm going to add to ManageWP. And there we are. It's added. Now we have an option to run a quick security check of the site. Let's go ahead and do that. And there we are. Verified clean and not blacklisted. Hooray! So now I'm going to close this and go back to Orion. And there's my site. Now I'm going to add one more. So I'm going to start by going to that other site. And this is my daughter's website. And again, I search for ManageWP. And we install the worker and activate it. And then I come back here and add website, log into my ManageWP dashboard, and in the bottom left, I add website. And I've already installed the plugin, so I add to ManageWP, and there we are. Now, there are two users on that site, my daughter and myself. I'm going to set myself as the administrator. Run a quick security check. And there we are, verified clean and not blacklisted. So I close this and we go back to Orion. Now you'll notice that I've switched back and forth between Orion and the old interface. And I've also mentioned that Orion's in beta. It doesn't have all the tools yet. But ManageWP has done a really excellent job of maintaining both interfaces so that you can use either one. So that if you need to come over here, you can. And access tools that are only over here. Or if you're more comfortable with them, to simply use the other tools. But then you go right back to Orion. And you can use these tools here as well. In our next video, we'll take a look at some of the tools that Orion has available. In this video, we're going to take a look at the user interface of Orion in ManageWP. I'm looking here at the thumbnail view of the main panel. On the left here, I could choose instead List View, and at the top is Dashboard. And Dashboard actually gives me information about each of the sites as opposed to just listing the sites. On the left here is a way to sort this information. So for example, I could say only show me the sites with updates available, or the sites that are up to date. I can also look at WordPress versions. Erin Go Blog is my youngest daughter's site, and she's been asking me to help her update it, and I haven't done a good job with that. So this is part of that. But there's an old version of WordPress running there, whereas the other three are running the latest. Other ways to sort here are tags and clients. Now, all I have here are the default. So let's take a look at making some. I can change this tag to live, and I can pick another color. And I can change this tag to development. There. Now imagine that I had 3 sites installed for as it were. One for live, one for development, one for testing. I could make another testing tag. But now I'm going to click Site Options, go to Tags and Clients, and make this the live version. There, and now you can see the green dot means that it's live. And over here you can see there's a 1, which means there's one live site. And I could sort by that. Or I could sort by unassigned. Clients is very similar. Triforce Power belongs to my daughter Emma, so I can choose Emma. There, and now I can sort by client. This is particularly useful when you have a single client with multiple websites, which happens more than you might think, particularly if they each have live development and testing. In the bottom of this area is a Clear Filters section. So you could say you wanted to see the live that are owned by Emma and are up to date, and realize you've messed it all up, so you can just clear filters and get everything back. All of these filters work the same way in List View. In the top center is a Filter Websites section where you can simply type in a name. And just like that, I've narrowed down my search. And then you can select all and deselect all. If you select all, or simply several, then there are tools here at the bottom available, and we'll take a look at those in another video. In the top left is a drop-down, which again, it's just another way to find the websites you're looking for. If you go to the dashboard view, you get to see everything that needs to be done for all of the websites. So there are 5 plugins, 6 themes, and 1 instance of WordPress that need to be updated. There are 31 spam comments, 480 post revisions, and the database is 11.6 megabytes. There are no recent comments. There are 5 approved comments. And then there's statistics here. And if you go to Analytics, it's pretty boring because we just set this up today. But you can also connect to Google Analytics, and this will get much more interesting if you've been running Google Analytics for a while now. And then there's the Backups section, which we'll take a look at in another video. If you go back to the List section, each site has a link for backups, opening the WordPress dashboard directly, which I'll show you how that works. And there we are. We're directly into WordPress, which is nice if you have many websites and you don't remember all of the usernames and passwords. And then lastly, there's a dashboard for the single site. And my site needs no updates, has 17 spam comments, has 5 approved recent comments, and the statistics are still boring. No backups, and then there's a section here for website notes. So you can keep specific notes about every website and say this website is having a particular problem with being hacked, or is particularly slow, or whatever. In our next video, we'll take a look at how to use some of these tools. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use some of the great tools that ManageWP offers. And we're going to start by working on a single site. There's a neat thing here about their panel that I want to point out, though. Beside each domain name is an icon. Beside this one is a green lock, which means it needs no updates, and it's running over SSL. Triforce Power has a little globe, but it's green, which means no SSL, but it still needs no updates. And these two are yellow, which means they have updates that need to happen. And if you switch to the list view, you can see the same here. So let's work on the website that needs the most help, Aaron Go Blog. We have 4 plugins, 5 themes, and WordPress that need to be updated. So right now, I could simply click Akismet and update it. And in the top is a green bar that shows progress, and now it's done. Or I could select all of these and click Update. And there goes the green bar. And now I have 5 themes that need to be updated. I also need to update WordPress. Now I can do them each individually here, or I can push this great big Update All button. And now it's going to update WordPress and my themes. And I could have done that with the plugins as well, just updated everything all at once. Now this one might take a little longer because there's more to do, so I'm going to go down. And here we have 61 revisions. You may recall that we set in the settings a max of 5 per post. Based on the number of posts she has, 61 may be appropriate, because there may only be a few per post. But we'll see. Let's optimize, and then we'll optimize database performance as well. And you'll note that our updates are now all completed. Optimization is completed. No pending comments. Statistics. And here are backups. We'll take a look at backups a little later. And website notes. So now we have updated everything for this website. You can see over here on the left that we have a little green globe, which means it's all updated. Now, because ManageWP is really intended to maintain multiple websites at once, it's kind of unlikely that you would do this with only a single website. So in another video, I'll show you how to update more than one website at the same time. In this video, we're going to take a look at updating multiple websites at once. I've added one more site, so now we have 2 that need updating. So in the top left, I'm going to click Dashboard. And here we can see that we have 2 updates. I don't even know on which sites those need to be done. They simply need to be done. So I'm just going to click Update All. So now it's updating 2 plugins and 1 theme on 2 different sites. And here we are at optimization. Only 2 sites need to be optimized in any way. We have 56 spam comments across 4 websites. So I'm simply going to select all and optimize. And now it's deleting all those spam comments. And here we have 460 post revisions and 11.8 megabytes in database table overhead. So I'm simply going to click Optimize All again. And there, it's done on all of them. No recent comments, statistics, analytics, and backups. That's really all there is to it as far as maintaining multiple websites. Now just imagine that you're running a hosting service and you have 80 or 100 websites. And you can simply come in here and click Update All. And all of them get taken care of. Rather than you or a paid intern sitting probably for most of a day and logging into every website and clicking Update all of that. This is why ManageWP is great, because you can manage all those websites at the very same time. In this video, we're going to take a look at what ManageWP offers for backups. The different plans offer different features in that regard. For example, here on individual bloggers, you can see you have only manual backups, whereas professional and up, you have scheduled backups. And you can determine where the backups go. So let's take a look. While we're here, I'd like to point out that you can choose a checkbox, and at the bottom, choose one of these icons. There's View the Dashboard, View Backups, Create a Client Report, Install Plugins, Install Themes, and Assign Tags and Clients. The Tags and Clients is particularly useful because you could select several and tag them all as live, or all as test, or all for a certain client. I'm simply going to click the View Backups icon right here. And right now, I have none. They're simply not enabled. So I click here, and now they are enabled. And it says, we are assembling your first backup for Topher1Kenobi.com. It might take a bit longer than usual depending on the website size. Please check this screen a bit later. So what we're going to do now is go to the main dashboard for all the sites and go down to backups. And you can see I have one doing automatic backups. And it's 24% in progress. I can go to the ones not enabled. And I can turn on several. But now let's go to Aaron's site. There. Now all 5 sites are doing backups. And you can see the progress right there. Now we have one backup that is completed and the others are in progress. You can see that it was done a minute ago, and I can click to view backups. In the top left, you can see a calendar, and it shows when backups happened. Right now I'm set to back up once a day, so the next time it will happen is tomorrow. But I could click this button and back it up now again. Below here is a list of all my backups. This is the initial one. But if I had more, it would list them here. In the top right, I have an overview where I could restore backup, where it would take this backup and overwrite anything I have on my website. That's fine as long as you haven't done anything that you don't want to lose. You also have the option to download the backup, in case you want to keep a local copy. It shows some statistics about your website, and then a photo of the website. In the top center is View Backup Content. You can click Files, and if you click here, you can download all the files, or you can download any individual file. Now that's from that particular backup, not from your website. And here we can view the database tables. So you can click to download all of them or any one of them. And right here we can choose our backup frequency. Once a day is fine for this website. It doesn't get more than one blog post a day. Now, if you want to store your backups someplace specific, you're going to have to leave Orion and go back to Classic. And here they have backups and a clone and migration wizard, as well as a number of other things that they can do with backups. These things will be coming to Orion within the next few months. So you have a number of options with backups. You can let the backups simply live at ManageWP, or you can download them yourself. You may want to do both. For restoring, it's all or nothing. You can't do bits and pieces. However, you could download this one file from that one backup and upload it yourself via FTP, which is sort of a partial restore. This may be exactly what you want, because you may want to restore only a small bit. Again, the big advantage of ManageWP is the ability to do the same thing to multiple websites at once. So coming down here and simply saying backup now on all of them is great, without having to log into every website and click the backup button. In this video, we're going to take a look at a really slick feature that I like very much called client reporting. Personally, I see the most common use for ManageWP as someone who manages multiple websites for clients. ManageWP makes it really simple to create a really nice looking report for your clients. Let's take a look at how that works. So I'm going to pick this site, and over on the left is Client Report. You can choose last week, last month, or custom dates. I'm going to choose custom dates, and we will start on November 1st and end today. And then we can choose what to include in the report: updates, backups, optimization, and analytics. So now we click Customize. And now we can customize the report. So here's some text for the front page and some text for the last page. And then you can add a logo. We click here, and there's our logo. So now we can preview and download. Right now it's generating the report, and now it's done. So here you can see website care report, aarongoblog.org. And here's our first page. And you can see we had room for quite a bit of stuff. And here is the overview. Updates, database optimization, post revisions, and backups. And then we can look at the updates that happened during this time, the optimizations that happened, the backups that happened, and some analytics. And this would be even more impressive if you had Google Analytics hooked up. And then here's our last page. So at this point, we can download as PDF, which I'll go ahead and do. And in my browser, it makes it render. And you can see how it looks nice and big. Or we could send to a client. So it pre-fills an email for us and gives us some suggested text. We could also save this as a template so that we didn't have to customize every time. So this is a report for a single site. Now we can go back and choose several sites. And at the bottom, choose Create Client Report. Here's the template we made from the other one. And now I'm simply going to choose Customize. And there's the material that we typed in. I'm going to add our logo. I like adding your own logo when you're doing multiple sites, but you may want to add the client logo. And now it's generating. And it says client report for 5 websites. So this would be for a client that has 5 websites. And you can show all that you did for them. Backups are up and running. We have one restore point. There's analytics and overview. So this is for each site as we go. You'll want to be careful with this. You may end up with a document with many pages, and your client may think first right away, I should print this. You may want to suggest that they look at it digitally first, and then easily pass it around the office. Again, you can download as PDF or send directly to a client. And you could make a new template name from this. I love that they worked so hard to make this attractive. It makes you look really good as a developer to have a clean, smooth report like this. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to install a plugin on multiple websites at the very same time with ManageWP. This is my profile page at wordpress.org, and I'm on the Favorites tab. So these are my favorite plugins. Simple Menu Delete allows you to delete a menu item within WordPress without nearly as many clicks. It's very simple, very small, but it saves me a lot of time. So I love it. So I'm going to install it on all the websites that we have. So now I have 5 websites. I'm going to click Select All, and here at the bottom is Install Plugins. Now I could drag and drop to upload one right from my computer. There are some excellent recommendations here, or I can simply search. And there it is at the top. And I can choose to automatically activate the plugin as well. I'm going to say yes. And here at the top you can see the green bar. And now it's done. So let's go see how that works. So now I should be able to go to Appearance, Menus, and there's the remove link on all my menu items. And if I go to Plugins, and go down to the S's, there is Simple Menu Delete. So just like that, I was able to install a plugin and activate it on every site. Let's do one more. I also really like drag and drop featured image because it reduces the number of steps that I need to take to make a featured image. Now I already have that one installed on this website, but I don't on any of the others. So let's see what happens when I try to install it on a site that already has it. And now it's done. It gave no errors. Let's reload this page and see what happened. Nothing at all. It failed perfectly. It found that the plugin was already there and skipped the site. That's exactly what we want to happen. So just like that, I can install plugins. Let's take a look at themes. Going to cancel installing plugins, and now I'm going to click on Install Themes. Now I have the option to activate themes here as well. I don't necessarily want to do that right away. I simply want to install a theme so that it's available for people. I really like the theme called Make. As you can see, it didn't find it. Fortunately, ManageWP has given us an excellent way to report this. There. Now, despite the fact that they did not find make, what I actually want to do is install a theme on all our sites. And be very, very sure Activate Theme is off because I don't want to do that. So I'm going to install 2010. There. Now if I go to Appearance, Themes, I have 2010 right here. These others were there before we started this process. So as you can see, installing themes and plugins on multiple sites at once is pretty simple. In my mind, installing themes on multiple websites at once seems a little unlikely, unless you're setting up a staging, test, and live environment. But with plugins, it can become incredibly useful. If your client or company comes to you and says, we have this plugin that we made that we need it on all our websites, it's easy to use this install from a zip file option and simply install it on all of the client's websites. And again, that's one of the joys of using ManageWP, is that you can manage multiple websites all at the same time. We have finished our series on features in Orion for ManageWP. But there are a few things I want to point out and a few things I'd like to reiterate. The first is that there are far more features in ManageWP than are currently in Orion. Fortunately, they have said that they plan to get all features ported by February 2016. That's only a few months away, and so the next few months should be very exciting both for ManageWP and their customers. I pointed out at the beginning that there's a 14-day free trial, and I hope you signed up for it to follow along during this series. That trial also gives you access to the old panel here, so that you can review and see all the tools that they have, and you might even get to see some of those tools get ported over in real time. I'd also like to reiterate that the real power and joy of ManageWP is not in the individual tools, but the fact that you can apply those tools to multiple websites. Many places offer backups. Many places offer reports. Many places offer a way to maintain your plugins. But ManageWP does them all in one place. And the more websites you have, the more valuable that becomes. Personally, I used to offer hosting, and I had about 80 clients. One of the reasons I quit doing it is that it was so difficult to maintain all of those websites. If something like ManageWP had been around at the time, I might still be doing that. What ManageWP really offers is time. It offers time back to you. They say that time is money, but for me, time is what I spend with my family. And that's one of the reasons I quit hosting and quit updating websites manually, is that it took so long. I didn't want to be doing that anymore. I wanted to be spending that time with my family. ManageWP offers you time. Granted, there's a fee and you pay for it, but you have to decide what your time is worth. Personally, I recommend ManageWP. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with the tools, and I've interacted with support on several occasions, and they've been responsive and helpful. So if it looks like ManageWP can work for you, I highly recommend it.